Hey guys, something out here. Hope you are all well. Spoiler alert, this video is probably just going to be about 20 minutes of me geeking out and being all fanboy over Xbox. Especially given the news that they dropped over the last couple of days has been really cool, really good news. Some very interesting news. And yeah, as I said, all around great news for Xbox, and as a fan of the Xbox, I just wanted to make a video to talk about it and just enjoy what they've announced, and yeah, I'm very happy. So, from what I can gather, a couple of days ago, a Twitter user leaked what appeared to be a promo image of what has now been confirmed as Xbox One S. Confirmed the name of it, that it was going to support 1440p up to 120 frames. It was going to have variable frame. I want to get this right. It have variable rate shading, and it's going to have hardware accelerated DirectX ray tracing. And it was going to cost $299. Xbox, to their credit, acted pretty quick, but didn't just go, we don't comment on rumors, only believe what you read from official sources. They came out and said, yeah, you know what, might as well just make it official. Yes, we have the Xbox Series S. It is coming out in November. It will support 1440p. Up to 120 frames per second. It will have hardware accelerated ray tracing. It will have variable rate shading. It will have a custom SSD with the Xbox Velocity architecture, and it's going to cost you $299 when it comes out in November. And everyone there was much rejoicing, especially over the price, because that price is. You want to talk about an entry point? I think the Xbox Series S is it. Because this isn't a Series X without a disc drive. They've not just removed a disc drive and said, "Here you go, have another console for cheaper." It is going to lack. Whilst the CPU is going to be similar, I very much doubt it's going to have the raw horsepower, GPU wise, of the Series X. Whether it even has the raw horsepower of the CPU is another matter. As I said, despite the fact that Microsoft is saying it's going to be similar, because it has this custom SSD and it has Xbox Velocity architecture, it's going to be, as I said, it's going to support hardware, DirectX ray tracing, and the variable frame shading. Basically, the next generation of games that support all of that and use all of that are going to be able to be played on the Series S. The only thing that I can see, or at least what Microsoft say is the primary difference, is simply the resolution. The Xbox Series X will do 4K, or they say it will do 4K. The Series S will only do up to 1440p. They say that they found that many of their customers more prioritize the frame rate over the resolution, which I can see. To be honest, I'm probably one such person. I very much love a game that has a very solid, stable frame rate, and have a machine that can deliver that, over trying to deliver beautiful 4K visuals but have to sacrifice the frame rate effectively to be able to handle that. They also say that a lot of their fans don't have a 4K telly, and therefore didn't want a console that you had to have a 4K telly in order to get the full benefit out of it. Now, when I was thinking about what I wanted to say in this video, I immediately went, this seems to be aimed at the casual gamer. I mean, I call myself a casual gamer, though I usually don't try not to use it as a descriptive term for others because it gets used derogatory. But I'm just thinking maybe this is what they were aiming for. They're aiming for the people that want all the next generation enhancements in the games that inevitably are going to be coming. But they don't want the 4K, or they don't prioritize the 4K resolution. And so Microsoft have basically gone, here you go. Here's a console that does that. It's a clever move. As I said, it fills that gap that Microsoft feel that there was there. And it's another option for customers to get into the Xbox ecosystem. And that's... I've said this for quite a while, and I'm not alone, and I certainly wasn't the first. That is what Microsoft is pushing this generation. They are pushing their ecosystem. They're pushing their GamePass. They're pushing xCloud. They're pushing any subscription services. It's like, we don't care how you play our games. We don't care what you play them on. As long as you're in our ecosystem and you're playing them on, basically, you have a subscription service. You buy the subscription service, we'll provide the method that you prefer in order to play your games on. Is what it seems to be. Because I said that, this is not the beast that the Series X is, but this is still a very impressive set of specifications that they've put together for this Series S. To such an extent that I'm actually tempted by it. At that price, I'm tempted to get the S. I probably won't. I will probably hold off and get the Series X. Or I may not even not hold off, which I'm going to come on to in a moment. And it's just that was, so everyone was losing their minds over that. Because especially then there was a second leak just afterwards about confirming the price of the Series X, which Xbox have confirmed is true. That's going to be £449 or $499. That for me is the sort of more impactful in terms of forcing Sony's hand, which I'll come on to towards the end. But yeah, it's a fantastic piece of kit from what I can see, and a great price, 250 quid. And the only thing you're missing out on really is resolution and a bit of raw horsepower, and a smaller hard drive, because it's only got a 512 hard drive, and there's no mention that you're going to be able to expand that. So yeah, that was pretty freaking amazing. But Xbox weren't finished there. So earlier on today, probably around this morning, actually, our time, they announced that all EA Play titles are going, or basically the EA Play subscription service is going to be available via Game Pass for no extra cost. Now, EA does not have the greatest reputation when it comes to games, certainly around the monetization of them. But they make a hell of a lot of money off them, and they sell very well. And coming back to the casual gamer, the guys who play the latest just play the annualized Battlefield and the annualized FIFAs and the Maddens. Xbox Series S Game Pass subscription done. And there you go. makes absolute complete sense. You put it all together, that's an impressive, quite a, I wouldn't say impressive, that's an enticing proposal. 250 quid for a next generation console. It's got, so just enough space to hold the games, the regular analyzed games that you play, plus have access to a whole massive back catalogue of Xbox first-party titles, third-party titles that they've brought to Game Pass, and all of EA's back catalogue for an upfront fee of £250 plus $10.99 a month. And it doesn't even have to be that either. Because I forgot about this. And it wasn't until, as part of their marketing, that obviously Xbox made a big thing of it. It's not very widely available. In the UK, it was only available via Smith's Toys and Game. Probably about the only two companies in the UK here that you can buy, consoles from, short of getting them in from Amazon. Was something called Xbox All Access, which was basically Xbox's finance deals for purchasing consoles. In terms of, basically, as it said, you pay for these new consoles in installments. The first one I think they did it on was with the Xbox One S, and basically you could buy it on finance at 0% APR, basically interest free. So if you pay it in installments, you're not going to pay any more than what you would have paid had you bought it, lump sum outright. And then 18 months later, you could then upgrade to the latest version of the Xbox, whatever that happened to be. They've confirmed now the sort of the costings of that for these new consoles, and it's like $20.99 a month for the S, $28.99 for the X, and in that price comes 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate. So it's like, if you're I'm tempted to go for that, and that's when I said I'm gonna go wait to save up for the X. $28.99 for an Xbox Series X and 2 years Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. And I'm paying $10.99 a month for Game Pass Ultimate as it is, so I can basically get an Xbox Series X for an extra 20 quid a month. They say the Game Pass is the best, one of the best value gaming services on the market at the moment. That's been hard to disagree with. But when you factor in the way that they're just bundling it in with everything, you could possibly now make an argument that says that Xbox is the best value gaming product on the market at the moment. Or it's certainly going to be from November the 10th when these two consoles are released. Different ways of purchasing them. Different versions. Not just the main console minus the disc drive. Catalog of over 100 games. Some of the biggest games that are out there, regardless of what you think of, FIFA and the Maddens and whatnot. They are big titles, and they make a lot of money. You bring all that together, and it's just, not to mention the fact that within the next week or two, xCloud is also coming to Game Pass for free as well. Free / no extra cost. So that is a massive, massive incentive. And from a business strategy, I'm closest I got to studying business was when I was studying business studies at flipping A levels, which was 20 years ago. God, I feel old now. But they're giving people multiple different routes into their ecosystem. Each route satisfying their own individual needs. Not to mention the fact that all of this is all backwards compatible and forwards compatible with current games. Current gen games. And all the peripherals as well. Excuse me. It is, as I said, massively enticing. And it's just, yeah. That's cool. I'm like, yes, I could, providing I can pre-order one quick enough, which is doubtful anyway, because there are going to be a shortage. A, it's a new console. B, COVID. But I don't have to wait until I've saved up all this money. I can use the money that I was going to save up each month to actually pay off the Series X's for the Nexus Pass, and I've got the console straight away. So inevitably, all eyes are now on Sony. And what are Sony going to do? Because the general sort of prevailing train of thought was that basically they were in a game of chicken. They were waiting for the other. And that basically Microsoft were going to wait for Sony and then just undercut them. This has... I mean, yeah, admittedly, Xbox's hand was forced a little bit with these leaks. But now it has put the pressure onto Sony for them to go, what have you got? Now, let me just reiterate something that I said in a previous video. The PS5 looks a great machine. It's a fantastic piece of hardware. What it lacks, it doesn't have the raw GPU, CPU power of the Series X, but there's other things that it does with regards to its hard drive and whatnot. And they also have great exclusives. They really do. You know, Gears of War. No, that's an Xbox exclusive. God of War. You know, Last of Us, and Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn. Very critically acclaimed, fantastic games. This now does put the pressure on Sony, because however you slice it, PS Now and PS Plus just is not on the same level as the Game Pass and Xbox Live. They're just not. Because that's not been their focus. It may well be going forwards, because it may well have to be going forwards, but it's not their focus. And it's been very clear right from the off that Sony are very much sticking to what worked for them last generation, what's worked for them previously, and you know, they're exclusives. And if you want in on the latest games, you have to buy the latest hardware, and you effectively have to leave everything behind, and you have to play all your games on the PS5. Or PS5 games on the PS5. That's the route that they've gone down, because it's worked for them. Now, this inevitably now is going to, as I said, put the pressure on Sony, because it is rumored and has been widely reported that the cost to manufacture a PS5 is about $450. So, if they want to undercut Microsoft now, they will be making... I read an article that... Oh, I've got the article up here, actually. PS4 retailed for $399, estimated to cost $381. So they were making $18 per unit, which worked out extremely well for them because they completely wiped the floor of Xbox because the Xbox One had an abysmal launch. And traditionally, console makers have made very little profit, if any. Often they made a loss on the hardware to get you the games and the service and everything, which you can probably argue is exactly what Xbox have just openly embraced this with their strategy for Series X. Now, that's all well and good. So if they want to undercut Microsoft's Xbox Series X, they are going to be making next to no profit on each device. Oh, well and good. That's, as I said, that's generally how this game is played. However, Microsoft at this stage are in a vastly superior position to what they were in 2013 with the Xbox One. So Sony are not going to dominate this market this time round like they did previously. I don't think they are. As I said before, they'll sell more units than the Series X. They may well sell more units than the Series X and the Series S combined. But they're not going to run away with it like they did this time. Which means their income is going to be lower from hardware sales, which means they'll have lower software sales, potentially lower software sales. Are they going to lose too much on each box trying to undercut Xbox? That their software sales and the subscription services can't make that up. Bearing in mind that the current perception, and rightly so, is that the PS Plus and PS Now are inferior services to the GamePass and Xbox Live. They don't have their cloud gaming because they haven't invested in it until fairly recently. They don't have all this backwards compatibility, so they are going to be asking customers to stump up $500 for $499. I think it'll be $450, $400, somewhere around there, right up front. They don't have certainly nothing that I've been able to see. They don't have a specific financing option that they can offer their customers, and certainly not one that's going to bundle in, PS Now and PS Plus. Their value proposition is not there. They are absolutely counting on the strength of their exclusives, which is a very, very big lure. Do not get me wrong. I've been tempted more than once to pick myself up a PlayStation so I can play the likes of God of War and Spider-Man. But you get out, so those are fantastic games. So you've played those games and you're looking for some other games. There isn't much on the PS. Now, there might be enough on the PS Now. You might find something on the PS Now that you want. In the PS Plus services, which is great. You may well find something on there. But it's the variety is not going to be as great as what it is on the Game Pass. So if you sort of look at it and go, well, once I've played these exclusives, if I want to play other games, chances are I'm going to have to buy them at full $60 price. Whereas there's the chance here that I could pay this subscription service, get all these games and EA's games as well. This is it's going to be interesting. Just having the so vastly different strategies is great because customer wins. It's great for Xbox. These last couple of days have been fantastic. It's what I think Xbox have been in a strong position beforehand. This really has solidified that they are like, yeah, we're covering all bases. We want people in on our ecosystem, and we're going to give them as many ways possible that satisfy their needs for them to do that. Sony are banking on the strength of their exclusives. The problem with now, I'm not saying that, obviously I'm going to be biased. I'm an Xbox fan. I'll put my hands up. But the problem I see with Sony's approach is, and we've seen this a little bit with Last of Us 2, what happens when those exclusives don't live up to the hype? That was been one of the main criticisms leveled at that was pretty much leveled at Xbox with regards to not necessarily the quality, though it was linked to it, but sort of the amount. So they had Halo, you had Gears, and you had Forza. Massive titles, but Forza is the benchmark, or pretty much for me for driving games. But Gears of War 4 wasn't greatly received by fans, and to be honest, neither was Halo 5. As much as I loved Halo 5, I thought Halo 5 was a really good game. It wasn't particularly well received by the fans. And you start seeing that a little bit of Last of Us 2, and it's like, if that fails, just for argument's sake, those exclusives don't hit home as much as Sony need them to or want them to, what have they got to fall back on? At the moment, it appears the answer is nothing. They don't have anything to fall back on. The exclusives they rolled out this year were home runs. As I said, I'm an Xbox fan, so that's probably driving my view on this. But yeah, for I just think overall, for note I want to finish on is that if you're a gamer, if you're a gaming fan of games, the news that Xbox rolled out today and yesterday is great for gamers. Just in terms of like the value that they're offered, and also phenomenal for Xbox fans because it's all on Xbox. Gaming ultimately is going to win because let's assume even for a minute that I'm right, even though I'm not likely to be, and these exclusives on PS5 don't quite live up to the hype, and the PS5 does struggle, and Sony's strategy of this generation doesn't go particularly well. They're going to evolve and adapt and improve and come back, and everybody wins. So yes, I think Xbox is in a very strong position. I think they are currently, at the moment, in a stronger position than what Sony is in. But it's a good time to be a gamer when you get new consoles out. And all I'll say is whatever one you decide to go for, I hope you have a lot of fun with it and you enjoy your purchase. But I'm a very happy Xbox fan right now. Any questions, any comments, leave them down below. I will try to address them in a future video. And in the meantime, you guys take care.